Alright, so let's get into this. Ended up getting a trade. Sorry about these marks here. Was just practicing taking like the partial profit on paper trading once again, just while I was in this trade on my live. What's it called? Cause I'm gonna be hopping on a prop here soon, prop firm. But yeah, anyway, so let's just kind of get into this. First of all, literally got edged so hard. Kind of crazy, but anyway. Dang. Now we're all right. Anyway, so let's just kind of get into it. It's honestly kind of a pretty simple trade. I was low-key a little bit stressed today, I'm not gonna lie, just cause how close it was edging my take profit and price was just moving so slow. But that's alright, you know? It is what it is. But anyway, let's just kind of get into the trade. So let's just go higher time frame wise today. So we're kind of in bearish market structure in the 4 hours, so I was trying to keep that in mind, you know. Not really many gaps here I could see except for this gap, and I was like, maybe we push into this and get some power out, but that's way higher time frame, so I wasn't really, I had to scale down just to kind of see where we were at, because there wasn't any here, any gaps or anything. But then, you know, we go to the hourly, we start to see we're respecting bullish order flow. You know, I mean, we have a good amount of gaps, we're filling them, strong pushes out. Then we have this hourly gap here, and I honestly was trying to see what price would do off of this once we opened. Same kind of thing with ES. You know, we were kind of respecting market structure, you know what I mean? So throughout all of the or throughout the previous Asia and London sessions. So that's kind of what we were looking for, and you know, we didn't have best draws of liquidity to the upside, or like really anyway today. Not gonna lie, like price moves slow, so I maybe shouldn't have even been trading this. I don't know, but I mean, all that matters, I took a dub, so yeah. But we had this draw liquidity, and these were relative equal, like they're super close. So that's a pretty strong draw, and then on NQ we have this draw and liquidity as well. We tap both of those, and then we kind of have some like lower resistance up here. As you can see, just kind of right there. Don't really have that on it yet. We do, but like we sweep it, so it's not really, it doesn't matter. We just have this high, but that's what I took the trade on. So yeah, that's kind of what I was targeting today. But I'll kind of explain what I did. So yeah, that's kind of what I was looking for. I wanted to see price go higher. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of moving with the market though. I wanted to see what was happening, how we were reacting. Um, but yeah, I mean, just what I was seeing, we were filling gaps and seeing power out. We weren't inversing. We weren't, you know what I mean? We weren't disrespecting uh, market structure, in my opinion. So that's kind of what we were doing. And so yeah, let's just go to 15-minute here. So this was kind of difficult here, this price range, I'm not gonna lie, because you know, we look in the 15-minute here, you know, we open end up inversing this gap on the 15-minute. But if you look at ES, that's not what we did. We respected this gap. So I saw that as, okay, we're gonna maybe try and push up. So let's just kind of go to the 5-minute. Oh crap, it froze. Give me a sec. Just gotta wait for it. It's done it that a good amount today. All right, there we go. But let's just kind of go to the 5-minute. So this is pretty much the trade. Wasn't the best risk reward today, I'm not gonna lie. So that was kind of unfortunate. But yeah, so basically off open, 5-minute bullish SMT. Almost took a trade off that when we broke structure, but we just had such a big candle. I didn't, and I've been trying to enter at least 15 minutes after open recently because I haven't been patient enough and stuff. But yeah, it was pretty simple day. We were able to draw out equilibrium on the 5-minute time frame, and we were honestly just waiting for price to either tap it. I wasn't expecting to tap it low key on ES just because we were way farther up, but we did tap it on NQ pretty quickly. So I figured we would tap it, maybe fill this gap, and ES was gonna stay up here maybe, and then we were gonna target this draw on liquidity like I said, but that wasn't the case. NQ ended up moving way farther down, ends up inversing this gap. So then at this point, I'm like, kind of like, okay, what do I need to do here? And so this was when I was just patient. I didn't want to just click short here, you know what I mean, and target lows. We still had this gap here. We got to realize we filled this gap and we saw power out. So this is just a retrace in my opinion, you know what I mean? Like this is a retrace because equilibrium here. That's just a retrace for me personally. So I didn't want to take a trade just off that inverse, you know, maybe catch like a small little trade on this down move, like on the like a short or something. I do know some people that ended up doing that, which is fire, but that just wasn't what I did today. But yeah, so that's kind of what we did, and ES was closer, higher up, you know, closer to our target, and so that's kind of what I did. But I decided to only target the internal high because we closed like right there, or no, right here. Yeah, we closed like right there, a little above. Just because like this candle was really strong right here, and so I just kind of tapped it, you know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, so that's kind of what happened with that. I didn't want to target this, and you know I'm glad I didn't, because look, we would have went break even, because I went break even I think like right when we broke past this gap here. I went break even on this trade on my live account. And then, like I said earlier, don't avoid this. This is just my paper account. I was just placing a limit order on this because I wanted to see just like how to take a partial profit, you know, or close like half my position, whatever, you know, and let the rest ride on TradingView. So that's kind of what I've been trying to learn, you know, doing this and stuff. And right clicking, you know, doing these. But yeah, so price action low-key wasn't the best today, honestly, but it was definitely doable, workable. I know definitely people caught a continuation off this trade, I'm sure. I want to say they probably did, but I'm not really too worried about that. I would have enjoyed to get that because of this bullish SMT. Just not really a retrace, you know, so I can't enter just off a break of structure a couple minutes into the market open, you know. That's just not, it for real for me. There was a potential trade though that I could have taken on, I think it was like a perfect 1-to-1. But yeah, it was basically just this inverse. We tap, what's it called? Tap at the gap, uh, see push out, get a perfect 1 minute inverse on this little gap. Could have entered off that candle closure here, like I said. Literally just target this first draw on liquidity I had. And this would have been on NQ. And yeah, it literally would have been a perfect 1-to-1. I don't know. I didn't want to enter this one. I kind of wanted to wait for a retrace, you know, like this big move down that it did, and I was kind of right about that, so that's cool. But yeah, anyway, so that's just kind of the trade for today. You know, we're kind of moving pretty crappy right now, just in this price range here. I was glad I was able to execute though. Bitcoin looks like, yeah, it just hit 69K a little bit ago, but yeah, so we'll see what happens here. Yeah, it's kind of crazy because it tagged both these lines when I was wanting to buy some, and then it went lower, so I ended up not buying. And I kind of drew this out. Just we kind of have low resistance liquidity here. So I easily see it coming down to here right now, in my opinion. Either here or potentially here. We'll see. That's around the 50K range. If it gets down there, yeah, I'm probably going to be buying some. I'm not going to lie. I just don't want to get burnt, you know. Obviously, no one does. But we'll see what happens, you know. The problem is right now, everyone's in fear. The only people that are wanting to buy right now is people that are a little bit, you know, knowledgeable on the stock market and stuff, you know. It's just there's a problem whenever there's fear in the market, because then it's just going to cause dramatic sell-off, even more than it has, you know what I mean? Like, this wasn't terrible in this range, you know, this whatever, but whenever we got into this low resistance here, and then we kind of went into over here, this was when people were starting to get scared, and now that caused a even huge sell-off, and then, you know, but yeah, that's just a little bit of something for Bitcoin. But anyway, yeah, so we haven't really got to my draw on liquidity in a way yet, but I think we will get there, TBH. Yeah, but yeah, so this was just kind of a continuation trade. Just had to be really patient for that retrace. That's pretty much it, you know. But yeah, anyway, I'll see y'all Monday. Let's have a good weekend, and yeah, God bless y'all. This is some news that we also have. Let's see, news Monday. No news Monday. Okay. Yeah, then we have CPI Friday. So yeah, this could be a big week. But yeah, anyway, I'll see y'all Monday. Peace.